What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on the channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by two things. Since we don't do any sponsorships here on the channel, I'll go ahead and show them out real quick. The first is my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound. And the second is a new podcast I just launched on my YouTube music channel called Chasing Infinity. It is myself and ChatGPT as my AI co-host, and we dive into a bunch of fun topics. So check it out. Links in the description. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, I'm going to give a shout out to the Chuny here, fellow Bitcoin maxi, and for bringing this really interesting idea I hadn't thought about in a while. I hadn't thought about actually at all, regarding backing SPS with Bitcoin. Now, here's the thing. I wanted, and I thought it'd be great for the DAO to hold some Bitcoin on its balance sheet, right? I think that it would be good for long-term, capital preservation and all that. But I hadn't really thought about backing Bitcoin, backing SPS with Bitcoin. Now, there's two instances that we can compare this to. And actually, before I even do that, let me dive into what the Chuny has here because he's worked through some of the math. So currently, the DAO has funds to buy 20 Bitcoin, which would equal 2 billion Satoshis, right? With the 3 billion issuances of SPS, of which, we've already burned 120 million, over 120 million so far, so it's actually less than that. But let's just say 3 billion SPS. That means each SPS could be worth 2/3 of a Satoshi. At a 60K price for Bitcoin, that puts a floor of SPS at 0.0006, not considering future gains in Bitcoin. Now, obviously, we are not necessarily anywhere close to that. We're well above it, right? We're 0.0075 or something like that. So this is a massive drop. But if the DAO did this, it would put a new idea in Web3 gaming, and the game may even get media coverage. Also, we are working on validators, so the SPS will have its own network. This will free up the DAO from most everything, including Splinterlands, in case the worst happens to the company. Bitcoin will do for the DAO what it does, which is bring freedom and liberty. It's the best path forward to ensure the DAO survives the ending it looks like we are moving to. The DAO would probably have to put out some agreement with SPS holders, and we already have elected treasurers. Let's freaking go. The day of reckoning has arrived, fellow Splinterlandsers, SPSers. So, I'm not as bearish as the Chuny just yet, but the concept of this is fascinating to me, right? Backing SPS with Bitcoin, because here's what happens. If the DAO owns X amount of Bitcoin, right? Like, let's say in this case, 20 Bitcoin, then you know that at the end of the day, even if the worst happens, the company goes under, whatever the case is, you will be able to redeem X amount of Bitcoin for your SPS, right? That's what it means for it to be backed by that. At some point, even if the worst happens and it all goes down, there will be a floor there, because let's say the worst happens and we all just vote that, the game's done. Let's dissolve the DAO, and everybody who owns SPS gets X amount of Bitcoin per SPS token that they hold, right? And we'll all just move on our merry ways. So again, I think it's a fascinating thing to think about, not because I want the game to end necessarily, but as the Chuny was saying, it creates a floor price for SPS, which is significantly lower than it is now, but it's not valueless, right? There is a value to it that will remain, which hopefully in the long run will go up because Bitcoin will continue to go up. But there is a value that will remain. Also, I don't know how much coverage we'd actually get. Maybe, the Bitcoin community can be quite finicky, but they were fascinated when Terra Luna was doing the same thing. If you remember, in the springtime, like March-ish time of 2022, before Terra Luna crashed, they were buying a ton of Bitcoin to back their algorithmic stablecoin. Now, we didn't realize at the time that they were doing that because they understood how vulnerable they were to a crash and to an eventual capitulation and attack, right? But at the end of the day, the concept was fascinating enough that all of the major Bitcoiners I knew were talking about it. Granted, it had pushed the price up significantly as well. We were starting to move upwards, and then, of course, the Terra Luna crash ended up being the massive thing that dumped the entire market and sent us into the extended bear. But at that time, right, people were looking at this and saying, well, isn't this a fascinating concept, right? And sure, you can look at it as it failed, but that was the Terra Luna project that ended up failing. They had to dump all their Bitcoin on the marketplace because of that. would that be the case here? Again, I don't know, and I'm not trying to make any speculation on how the company will do long-term or not, but this is a fascinating look at it. So Terra Luna is one example, and then you can look even at like MicroStrategy technically as another example. So everybody is, so people who buy MicroStrategy, which is, Michael Saylor's company, the way that they're looking at it is they buy MSTR, and this is not a full, an apples to apples analogy, right? But they'll buy MicroStrategy, and then their shares actually get diluted. So MicroStrategy will either issue new shares or take on debt in order to then go and buy more Bitcoin. But nobody's complaining because even with the dilution of shares, the amount of Bitcoin per share continues to go up. That's why everybody's holding, because it's like a proxy for holding Bitcoin, but then you don't have to worry about a yearly fee from what's that called? One of these ETFs. And it's a leverage play, right? It's a leverage play. So people like that. That's why MicroStrategy is popping off, and a lot of other companies are starting to adopt this, even at a smaller scale, right? So I'm fascinated by this idea, even if just to put a floor on it. And I'm not saying that we should take all the DAO funds and buy Bitcoin, but if we were to move forward with an idea and say like, hey, we're going to buy this Bitcoin on the treasury, on the reserve, and we're going to hold it forever, right? We could basically turn Splinterlands into a Bitcoin maxi game, right? Where you would get a lot of folks who'd be interested because they're just like, wait, okay, so like the DAO is just going to vote to like hold Bitcoin on it. Now, we don't have a Michael Saylor, right? And I don't even know how the whales would feel about this overall. But I think a lot of people feel very comfortable with something like MicroStrategy because they know Michael Saylor's not going to sell. I mean, he could, right? And then things would get crazy. But there's obviously less risk here when you have ruling by the masses, right? Democracy, or whatever you want to call our DAO oligarchy, right? Where people can come in and essentially vote and change policies. So either way, it's a fascinating topic for me. I wanted to share it here with you and give a shout out to Chuni because I hadn't thought about it in that way. And now even more so, I want the DAO to buy some Bitcoin. I want the DAO to buy some Bitcoin, not with the intention of trading Bitcoin as it goes up or down, but the intention of backing SPS with Bitcoin. And as we go through, ups and downs and cycles, when the DAO is able to get some money or whatever the case is, I think that we should be taking some of that revenue and then continuing to buy more Bitcoin with it. So that the DAO is holding on to this Bitcoin, right? The DAO is holding on to the Bitcoin. We know that SPS has a floor value. And even if the worst happens, there will be value for SPS. And at that point in time, we can choose to do something different, right? Maybe people will vote and say, all right, let's dissolve the DAO. Let's dissolve everything. Everybody just go home with the amount of Bitcoin that's, proportional to your stake. Or maybe we choose at that point, right, to use Bitcoin to revitalize whatever it is that we have. But again, you could do that with like any asset, right? But obviously, I'm a Bitcoin maxi, and I believe that this is, I believe is going to infinity, right? Or everything goes to zero against it just because everybody's going to continue printing money. But it's a fascinating topic, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So again, shout out to Chuni. Let me know what you think. This is just, we're still in early stages of this, and I don't even know how the whales would feel about it. I don't believe any of them are really Bitcoin maximalists, but I like this idea, and I just want to put it out there to see what the community feels, or how the community feels about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's all I got for you guys in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one, and see you around the game. Take care.